Good morning.
You show up. The power of death is broken. Just one touch, and I am changed. From your lips, my true name you spoken, and calling out who I've always been. I'm taking on my grave clothes, putting on righteousness. I'm taking on my grave clothes. I'm putting on resurrection. I'm taking on my grave clothes. I'm putting on righteousness. I'm taking on my grave clothes. I'm putting on resurrection. You step in, crushing every stronghold. All my sin beneath your feet. Just one word. You awaken my soul. I trade these rags for who you say I am. Taking on my grave clothes, I'm putting on righteousness. Taking on my grave clothes, I'm putting on resurrection. Taking on my grave clothes, I'm putting on righteousness. Taking on my grave clothes, I'm putting on resurrection. I'm gonna sing it till I mean it, till all my doubts have been defeated. I'm gonna sing it till I mean it. You're gonna see this dead man walk. I'm gonna sing it till I mean it, till all my doubts have been defeated. I'm gonna sing it till I mean it. You're gonna see this dead man walk. I'm gonna sing it till I mean it, till all my doubts have been defeated. I'm gonna sing it till I mean it. You're gonna see this dead man walk. Taking on my grave clothes, putting on righteousness. Taking on my grave clothes, putting on resurrection. Taking on my grave clothes, putting on righteousness. Taking on my grave clothes, putting on resurrection.
Good morning, loves. Give me just a second here. Hi, Ashlyn. Oh, it's so good to see you here. This is incredibly, just a little bit odd. I don't know if this might help. Let's see. Trying to get the right lighting because I'm trying to let our guy sleep. If he wakes up, that's fine. But if not, we're going to let him sleep today because, he lost a friend this week. It's been a heavy week. And this yesterday, hi, my name is Stacey Johnson, and I am reading the Bible with you today. I'm reading Esther today. And Normally I do that with my husband. His name is Chris. He's incredible. He's amazing. I just need to lift this a little bit. And today I'm gonna maybe let him sleep in and just kind of take over for this morning. 1 second. Just gonna see if a different pair of glasses will be a teensy bit less reflective. I do realize I'm as mismatched as I could possibly be. Yes, I do realize that. It is what it is. I have not slept. I have actually been, those are a little bit less reflective. Interesting. I have been writing almost all night. I couldn't really sleep well, and so how are you doing? Check in. How are you feeling? How are you showing up for this day? Let me know. At about 3 a.m., I was like, okay, I could go to sleep. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I just want to write. I had started writing a little bit yesterday, and I just really didn't want to stop. I'm writing an ebook resource for people on how to find a therapist. Good morning, Christy. Good morning, Jackie. How to find a therapist. And as I've been writing this book, it has become, I just have all the tips. So I had more and more and more and more to write on, what it looks like when you're in a therapy session, and what to do after a therapy session, and what if you have to change therapists, all kinds of things and all kinds of resources. But I'm so passionate about this. Christy, you were there when we were Maven Moguls and I started this ebook. And it was, at that time, I thought 90% done. And then I stopped because I was at the point where I was sharing the tip of have a therapy journal. If you're in therapy, take a notebook with you. And I was like, I hate to just say that and not offer that resource, not have a clickable link to the therapy journal that I want to write. Well, we're just right on time, guys. Sometimes something doesn't get done and you think, oh, I just got busy. And it's like, no, like I needed more space, more mental margin to really get more creative with that. So I'm in a little small group of some girls writing and holding each other accountable, and they're getting some stuff done. So I'm inspired to write in this season on this kind of holiday break. And instead of going and starting the therapy journal, I went back to the how to find a therapist, and I've just been adding to it. So I'm so grateful, so grateful. I wish someone had given me this. So hopefully someday soon I will have that available to share. So that's how I'm showing up. I'm not too tired. I feel okay right now, and I'm excited to be here with you. The dogs are asleep. The kids are asleep. The hubby is asleep. And as I said, he lost a friend, a really dear friend this week. So we've had a big week, and he went there, drove to Oklahoma City and back in the same day yesterday just to be there during the family conversation about the funeral, because he's doing the funeral. And he knew he needed to be there. And I'm so glad he was, because when the hard conversations were coming up, he was able to, make some decisions and keep people from pushing agendas and all kinds of things that the family didn't want. So I'm so proud of him. And I just thought, you know what? I got this. It's Esther. let's do this, okay? Yesterday we read Esther 1 through 5. Today we're reading Esther chapters 6 through 10. So you got me. So lean in. Oh, I have got some notes on this that I really want to continue. So let me grab that, because in my teachings on Esther, I absolutely want to add to God's just showing. He's just showing some things, like he does. The word is living, breathing, and he's always just showing us something new every time we get in it, right? So, yeah, it's incredible. I'm excited. Okay. How are you guys showing up? Jackie's here with friends and family while the house is still asleep. I always look forward to mornings with you all. It brings me joy. Me too. I do too. I love you guys, and I love being here with you. I just thank you for saying that. Yeah, for sure. Agreed, Christy. So proud of him. Goodness gracious, Christy, we need to do a call. We need to talk about the story of the man. That was some cool story you had, and the story of catch up on what's going on with you. And hey, while all three of you are here, well, Christy's already an Esther, and Jackie and I are already chatting next week. So Ashlyn, it's you and me. We need to talk about Maven Esther's Collective, because you just need to get up in there. Because Little Miss Daughter Fire, Maven alumni, Maven's is back. So let us chat. Let us chat, shall we? All right. Thank you, Father, so much. We love this. We love getting to be here. We look so forward to it. It's such a sweet, sweet time and a sweet way to start our morning. We're excited to see what you have to show us about Esther this morning. Please guide me as I read. Please help me to not get in the way of what you want to show us, Father God. And would you be so kind as to pour your wisdom into our hearts, to protect our hearts, and to grow our faith by the hearing of your word, Father. We love you. Do your wild and holy thing. In Jesus' name, amen. Can you guys hear me okay? Yes, Ashlyn. Holla at your girl today. Let's chat. It's time. All right, here we go. We have 5 chapters. We're all in. Let's do this. The king honors. Oh, awesome. Good. I didn't want to be too loud or too low. The king honors Mordecai. On that night, the king could not sleep, and he gave orders to bring the book of memorable deeds, the chronicles, and they were read before the king. And it was found written how Mordecai had told about Bigthana and Teresh, 2 of the king's eunuchs who guarded the threshold and who had sought to lay hands on King Ahasuerus. And the king said, "What honor or distinction has been bestowed on Mordecai for this?" The king's young men who attended him said, "Nothing has been done for him." And the king said, "Who is in the court?" Now Haman had just entered the outer court of the king's palace to speak to king about having Mordecai hanged on the gallows that he had prepared for him. And the king's young men told him, "Haman is there, standing in the court." And the king said, "Let him come in." So Haman came in, and the king said to him, "What should be done to the man whom the king delights to honor?" And Haman said to himself, "Whom would the king delight to honor more than me?" And Haman said to the king, "For the man whom the king delights to honor, let royal robes be brought, which the king has worn, and the horse that the king has ridden, and on whose head a royal crown is set, and let the robes and the horse be handed over to one of the king's most noble officials. Let them dress the man whom the king delights to honor, and let them lead on the horse through the square of the city, proclaiming before him, "Thus shall it be done to the man whom the king delights to honor." Then the king said to Haman, "Hurry, take the robes and the horse as you have said, and do so to dun, 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 Mordecai the Jew, who sits at the king's gate. Leave out nothing that you have mentioned." So Haman took the robes and the horse, and he dressed Mordecai and led him through the square of the city, proclaiming before him, "Thus shall it be done to the man whom the king delights to honor." Then Mordecai returned to the king's gate, but Haman hurried to his house, mourning, with his head covered. And Haman told his wife, Zeresh, and all his friends everything that had happened to him. Then his wise men and his wife Zeresh said to him, "If Mordecai, before whom you have begun to fall, is of the Jewish people, you will not overcome him, but will surely fall before him." Different tone, lady. Esther reveals Haman's plot. While they were yet talking with him, the king's eunuchs arrived and hurried to bring Haman to the feast that Esther had prepared. Chapter 7. So the king and Haman went in to feast with Queen Esther. And on the second day, as they were drinking wine after the feast, the king again said to Esther, "What is your wish, Queen Esther? It shall be granted you. And what is your request? Even to the half of my kingdom, it shall be fulfilled." Then Queen Esther answered, "If I have found favor in your sight, O king, and if it please the king, let my life be granted me for my wish, and my people for my request. For we have been sold, I and my people, to be destroyed, to be killed, and to be annihilated. If we had been sold merely as slaves, men and women, I would have been silent, for our affliction is not to be compared with the loss to the king." Then King Ahasuerus said to Queen Esther, "Who is he, and where is he who has dared to do this?" And Esther said, "A foe and enemy, the wicked Haman." Then Haman was terrified before the king and the queen. Haman is hanged. There's a fly. And the king arose in his wrath from the wine drinking, probably contributed to his wrath, and went into the palace garden. But Haman stayed to beg for his life from Queen Esther, for he saw that harm was determined against him by the king. And the king returned from the palace garden to the place where they were drinking wine, as Haman was falling on the couch where Esther was. And the king said, "Will he even assault the queen in my presence, in my own house?" As the word left the mouth of the king, they covered Haman's face. Then Harbona, one of the eunuchs in attendance on the king, said, "Moreover, the gallows that Haman has prepared for Mordecai, whose word saved the king, is standing at Haman's house 50 cubits high." And the king said, "Hang him on that." So they hanged Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai. Then the wrath of the king abated. Beware lest you plot against someone in your own anger, for the very thing that we seek to be revenge for someone else can easily fall to us, right? Esther saves the Jews, chapter 8. On that day, King Ahasuerus gave to Queen Esther the house of Haman, the enemy of the Jews. Gave to Queen Esther the house of Haman, the enemy of the Jews. And Mordecai came before the king, for Esther had told what he was to her. And the king took off his signet ring, which he had taken from Haman, and gave it to Mordecai. And Esther set Mordecai over the house of Haman. Ooh. Once again, she used her position to position others. She put Mordecai over this entire house that she now has. Then Esther spoke again to the king. She fell at his feet and wept and pleaded with him to avert the evil plan of Haman the Agagite and the plot that he had devised against the Jews. Now she's going to take care of everybody. There's a song. Remind me, there's a song for this. When the king held out the golden scepter to Esther, Esther rose and stood before the king, and she said, "If it please the king, and if I have found favor in his sight, and if the thing seems right before the king, and I am pleasing in his eyes, let an order be written to revoke the letters devised by Haman the Agagite, the son of Hammedatha, which he wrote to destroy the Jews who are in all the provinces of the king. For how can I bear to see the calamity that is coming to my people, or how can I bear to see the destruction of my kindred?" Then King Ahasuerus said to Queen Esther and to Mordecai the Jew, "Behold, I have given Esther the house of Haman, and they have hanged him on the gallows, because he intended to lay hands on the Jews. But you may write as you please with regard to the Jews in the name of the king, and seal it with the king's ring. For an edict written in the name of the king and sealed with the king's ring cannot be revoked." She's changing the rules, y'all. Changing the rules. The king's scribes were summoned at that time in the 3rd month, which is the month of Sivan, on the 23rd day, and an edict was written according to all that Mordecai commanded concerning the Jews to the satraps and the governors and the officials of the provinces from India to Ethiopia, 127 provinces, to each province in its own script, and to each people in its own language, and also to the Jews in their script and their language. She's kind of a published author. And he wrote in the name of King Ahasuerus and sealed it with the king's signet ring. Then he sent the letters by mounted couriers riding on swift horses that were used in the king's service, bred from the royal stud. Hey, babe. Oh my gosh. Oh. Saying that the king allowed the Jews who were in every city to gather and defend their lives, to destroy, to kill, and to annihilate any armed force of any people or province that might attack them, children and women included, and to plunder their goods on one day throughout all the provinces of King Ahasuerus on the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month of Adar. A copy of what was written was to be issued as a decree in every province, being publicly displayed to all peoples. And the Jews were to be ready on that day to take vengeance on their enemies. So the couriers, mounted on their swift horses that were used in the king's service, rode out hurriedly, urged by the king's command, and the decree was issued in Susa, the citadel. Then Mordecai went out from the presence of the king in royal robes of blue and white, with a great golden crown and a robe of fine linen and purple. And the city of Susa shouted and rejoiced. The Jews had light and gladness and joy and honor. Light and gladness and joy and honor. That is the ripple effect of you. Using your voice. And in every province and in every city, wherever the king's command and his edict reached, there was gladness and joy among the Jews, a feast and a holiday. And many from the peoples of the country declared themselves Jews, for fear of the Jews had fallen on them. You okay? Dee just had a tooth come out.
That
We've
was
been
a-
waiting on it. Chapter 9. Ugh. The Jews destroy their enemies. Now, in the 12th month, which is the month of Adar, on the 13th day of the same, when the king's command and edict were about to be carried out, on the very day when the enemies of the Jews hoped to gain the mastery over them, the reverse occurred. Reverse. The Jews gained mastery over those who hated them. The Jews gathered in their cities throughout all the provinces of King Ahasuerus to lay hands on those who sought their harm, and no one could stand against them, for the fear of them had fallen on all the peoples. All the officials of the provinces and the satraps and the governors and the royal agents also helped the Jews, for the fear of Mordecai had fallen on them. For Mordecai was great in the king's house, and his fame spread throughout all the provinces. For the man Mordecai grew more and more powerful. The Jews struck all their enemies with the sword, killing and destroying them, and did as they pleased to those who hated them. In Susa, the citadel, the Jews killed and destroyed 500 men, and also killed Parshendatha and Dalphon and Aspatha and Paratha and Adelia and Aridatha and Parmashta and Arasai and Aradai and Vaizatha, the 10 sons of Haman, the son of Hamadatha, the enemy of the Jews, but they laid no hand on the plunder. That very day, the number of those killed in Susa the citadel was reported to the king, and the king said to Queen Esther in Susa the citadel, "The Jews have killed and destroyed 500 men, and also the 10 sons of Haman. What then have they done in the rest of the king's provinces? Now what is your wish? It shall be granted you." Is this like her third wish? And Esther said, "If it please the king, let the Jews who are in Susa be allowed tomorrow also to do according to this day's edict." If it please the king, let the Jews who are in Susa be allowed tomorrow also to do according to this day's edict, and let the 10 sons of Haman be hanged on the gallows. So the king commanded this to be done. A decree was issued in Susa, and the 10 sons of Haman were hanged. The Jews who were in Susa gathered also on the 14th day of the month of Adar, and they killed 300 men in Susa, but they laid no hands on the plunder. Now the rest of the Jews who were in the king's provinces also gathered to defend their lives, and got relief from their enemies, and killed 75,000 of those who hated them, but they laid no hands on the plunder. This was on the 13th day of the month of Adar, and on the 14th day they rested and made that a day of feasting and gladness. But the Jews who were in Susa gathered on the 13th day and on the 14th day and rested on the 15th day, making that a day of feasting and gladness. Therefore, the Jews of the villages who live in the rural towns hold the 14th day of the month of Adar as a day for gladness and feasting, as a holiday, and as a day on which they send gifts of food to one another. The Feast of Purim, this comes up a lot, and the Feast of Purim inaugurated. I just started looking into that the last year and this year. And Mordecai recorded these things and sent letters to all the Jews who were in all the provinces of King Ahasuerus, both near and far, obliging them to keep the 14th day of the month of Adar and also the 15th day of the same year by year. as the days on which the Jews got relief from their enemies, and as the month that had been turned for them from sorrow into gladness and from mourning into a holiday, that they should make them days of feasting and gladness, days for sending gifts of food to one another and gifts to the poor. So the Jews accepted what they. Okay. Will you please hand me a protein shake?
Yes, ma'am.
And what Mordecai had, so the Jews accepted what they had started to do and what Mordecai had written to them. For Haman the Agagite, the son of Hammedatha, the enemy of all the Jews, had plotted against the Jews to destroy them, and had cast Pur, that is lots, or pure, to crush and destroy them. But when it came before the king, he gave orders in writing that his evil plan that he had devised against the Jews should return on his own head, and that he and his sons should be hanged on the gallows. Therefore, they called these days Purim, after the term pure. Therefore, because of all that was written in this letter, and of what they had faced in this matter, and of what had happened to them, the Jews firmly obligated themselves and their offspring, thank you, and all who joined them, that without fail they would keep these 2 days according to what was written, and at the time appointed every year, that these days should be remembered and kept throughout every generation, in every clan, province, and city, and that these days of Purim should never fall into disuse among the Jews, nor should the commemoration of these days cease among their descendants. And they do celebrate the Feast of Purim even to this day. The Queen Esther, one second. The daughter of Abihail and Mordecai the Jew gave full written authority confirming this second letter about Purim. Letters were sent to all the Jews, to the 127 provinces of the kingdom of Ahasuerus, in words of peace and truth, that these days of Purim should be observed at their appointed seasons, and as Mordecai the Jew and Queen Esther obligated them, and as they had obligated themselves and their offspring with regard to their fasts and their lamenting. The command of Esther confirmed these practices of Purim, and it was recorded in writing. Writing. She wrote Revelation, not the book, but that was okay. Chapter 10, final chapter for the day. The greatness of Mordecai. King Ahasuerus imposed tax on the land and on the coastlands of the sea, and all the acts of his power and might, and the full account of the high honor of Mordecai to which the king advanced him. Are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Media and Persia? For Mordecai, the Jew was second in rank to King Ahasuerus, and he was great among the Jews and popular with the multitude of his brothers, for he sought the welfare of his people and spoke peace to all his people. And that is the end of Esther. Let's catch this recap. Here we go. Haman's crew is working on the gallows, which are more like a big spike to impale a person on. Yikes. Meanwhile, King A can't fall asleep, which is God's providence at work. To combat his insomnia, he asks one of his staff to read him a bedtime story about everything that has happened since he took office. Don't think it's small when God keeps you up at night. There might be something he wants you to read or write. Girl, Talking to myself. I'm sorry, I have to write that down. For me, that's funny. Hmm. Okay, I'm almost done. Um, okay, so sorry. Um, that's when he realizes he never thanked, that's Revelation, he never thanked that nice man who saved his life. That divine oversight from 4 years ago led up to this very moment. Just as it dawns on the king, Haman walks in to ask for permission to kill Mordecai. But before he can get the question out, King A says, suppose I want to honor someone. What's the best way to do that? Look at God, man. Look at God. Haman pulls out his list of bullet points, all the ways he wants to be honored, and is expecting the king to honor him, of course. When he finishes, King A says, great, go do all those things for Mordecai. Haman is humiliated, leading a parade through the center of town on behalf of Mordecai. Haman heads back for another banquet with the king and queen. Once again, the king offers the queen whatever she wants, and that's when she fills him in on what Haman has done to her and her people. Notice in all of this, you think about it like, okay, so what Esther did was she got counsel from Mordecai, and then, she goes and uses her voice and pleads for her people. Mm, Not actually. She actually first just asked for a party. She just asked for a meeting to position someone else. Her first request in using her voice was positioning someone who mentored her, who had wisdom, who she got counsel from, and also who she knew had wisdom and information that would further the entire kingdom. That's amazing. This is her second wish. It's not until her second wish that she asks for like retribution, that she asks for everybody to be saved. Is it the third? Let's see. Haman heads back for another banquet with the king and queen. Once again, the king offers the queen whatever she wants, and that's when she fills him in on what Haman has done. The king is furious, so he goes outside to cool off. Meanwhile, Haman begs Esther to save his life. The wine is mentioned a lot in this passage, so perhaps Haman is tipsy when he falls on the couch where Esther is seated. And since God is sovereign even over the stumbling of a drunk fool, it happens just as the king walks back inside. He thinks it's an assault of some sort, and his bodyguards grab Haman and take him away to kill him. The death Haman planned for Mordecai is doled out to him instead. I have to write something down. I've just been thinking about the responsibility that we have to further the work of those who guide and mentor or advise us, those who God has positioned to help us grow. And it just makes me think of my Mama Judy. Specifically, I'll come back to that. Sorry. Esther tells King A that Mordecai is her cousin and guardian, then sets him over Haman's inheritance. The king sets him, positions her mentor over the kingdom that she's been given. That's incredible. Guys, I'm doing the live. Please stop interrupting me.
I'm not in his house.
For what? Okay. Good morning. The king moves him into, put a coat on, it's cold outside, babes. The king moves him into Haman's position, but the clock is still ticking toward the pronounced edict against the Jews in Persia's provinces. Esther begs the king to reverse the edict, but royal edicts are irreversible. The king gives Esther and Mordecai permission to write whatever they please. She's rewriting history and the future. And they come up with a brilliant plan. Since they can't stop people from attacking the Jews, they'll give the Jews permission to fight back and plunder the goods of anyone who attacks them. They hope this new edict will deter people from attacking the Jews at all. But for those who still do attack, the Jews will at least have legal grounds to fight back. Do you see that in this quest, in this request, she finds a solution for what she cannot control? They didn't just get completely alleviated from the battle. They were equipped for the battle. They didn't just get, okay, case dismissed. No, it's not what happened. The battle's going to happen, and I'm going to equip you. This is a great relief to the Jews. In fact, lots of the locals either convert to Judaism or claim to be Jews just to be associated with the people who have the upper hand. If it's the latter, nobody is endorsing their lies. It just shows us how this impacts the political climate. Babe, be careful, okay? Okay. When the day comes, the Jews are attacked. So they fight back and kill 75,000 attackers, but they don't take the plunder. This could sound like a foolish move, but it seems more like a move of honor. Here's why. Remember how Haman is a descendant of the Amalekites, the long-standing enemies of the Israelites? Did not remember that. When they fought against each other in 1 Samuel 15, God commanded the Israelites not to take the spoils from their victory, but Saul did. And God punished him for it. It's possible they're trying to set right what Saul had gotten wrong in the war of their fathers 600 years ago by aiming to honor God's commands instead of taking advantage of what's available to them. They kill Haman's sons, then celebrate their victory. They also make this an annual celebration known as Purim. Today's God shot, and what is yours? Drop it in the chat. How do you see God in this? God is hands-on despite his apparent absence. Remember, God is not used in the entire book of Esther. That's not mentioned. He's at work flipping the plans of the wicked to fall back things for the righteous too, to bless them. He's at edict from the king here. And Mordecai isn't the hero. Yahweh is obviously orchestrating every detail of the story to be the rescuer of his people. Time will reveal how God is rescuing you in your current situation. He may appear to be absent, but he is always at work, fulfilling his promises for our God and his glory. He can be trusted, and he's where the joy is. It is right on time, Christy. Woo! So good. So many things here, you guys. Just amazing. I'll just say, I just see God right on time. I just see him impeccable in his trustworthiness, of orchestrating his plans and in his timing. I mean, look at all that happens just right. Like the point where Haman is coming in. What if Haman had come in the day before? What if the king had not stayed up when he was up? What if he just was like, no, I'm going to sleep? What if he didn't lean in to that? So many things. I just see God just being impeccable in his timing, oozed into every corner. Yes, so good. All right, now I'm getting tired. And if you have a God shot, drop it like it's hot. If you have a God shot, drop it like it's hot. And what are you excited about today? What gets no play today? And with whom and how can you share God's extraordinary love? I'm excited about writing more. I'm very excited about writing more. And I'm excited about just my husband being back home. And guys, tomorrow is Thanksgiving. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. Yes, it is. Okay. And then no play is not getting some sleep. I need to sleep regardless of what that looks like. And I also need to delegate some house cleaning. Extraordinary love goes to, I'm thinking of Judy. So shut. Ugh. Here's the thing. There's a few times in scripture where it talks about honoring those that are kind of helping you grow. I learned this just from my own. I have kind of a spiritual daughter, Carrie Matherly. She's in my small group of Esther's Inner Circle, and she and I have journeyed for a couple decades. We used to go to church together when I was at 21.
We can't usually if we don't have the box.
So over 20 years ago. Anyway, after we weren't going to church together anymore and time and distance kind of separated us, I left that church. She began to also start mentoring. That's how it should work. You should be mentored and then you should be mentoring. And throughout her mentoring journey, she would make a point once in a while to reach out to me. And once in a while, I would just shut the door, randomly get a text of Thanksgiving. Just something that just said, hey, I just want you to know this came up today or this week in my mentoring journey, in my guiding others. And I just was reminded of how God used you to develop me and my spiritual maturity, and and this and this and this, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that I had you, and that I have those things to guide me as I mentor others. I would just cry. I never would expect it. If just randomly she would send a long text. And a couple of those times, hey guys, the dogs need to go out probably.
But that's good saying we don't need it. And they will run away, but that's saying they won't.
Okay, we'll just do whatever your dad says. Okay, just let it be. And if that doesn't,
even know where the boxes are.
Okay, don't worry about it. Dee, stand by the door so you can quickly open and shut it, please. Give me 1 sec, guys. So anyway, the point of the story is that there was a couple times that she actually referenced scripture, and she shared that you need to what?
Check if they peed.
Oh, I think just leave it for now.
Can't tell.
Yeah, I think so. But just no, I think they did. I was up all night and I'm pretty sure I heard it. But anyway, don't worry about it right now. It's okay. Yes. Okay. Woo, there we are. Hi. So she referenced, are you guys here? She referenced scriptures that basically just said um, to honor those who bring you up in your spiritual journey. And I was just like, really? That's so great. Well, as just recently, I was texting Mama Judy, and we had to reschedule our hangout this week for next week because she's just tired and her back is hurting. She travels so much. She's constantly going and speaking in different places. Okay. And I don't like that. I'm like, she is gold. Okay. People can come to her. And it's my hope and desire and prayer and vision that she can do more work here and that we can all just come to her, right? We can all just come to where she is and glean from her. And so I had told her that. I just said, I'm praying for you. I'm praying for rest and restoration. I'm just praying for you to be able to stop all this traveling. It's so hard on your body and on your mind and, airports and all the things. I said, I just pray that Magnify will be a place that can be a home of ministry for you so that people can come to you. And she said, I agree, And so I'm just loving on her with prayers that God would make a way for traveling to cease and for us to partner with her in offerings that can bless her and that she can shut the door, that she can shut the door. Thank you. Oh, it's so cold. Be blessed in that way. So pray that with me, would you? And see who you might bless or take their ministry further, expand it, like position. It goes right in line with what the model of Esther. She used her first wish of whatever you want to position the one who was her guardian, the one who was over her, the one who advised her. And I just think that's such a beautiful thing. And it inspires me to do the same. And so I want to further the work of other kingdom women for sure. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I could tell like the time seemed to froze a little bit, but I'm so sorry. Oh, yes, Ashlyn, I love that. Excited about today being the first day of time off from work. Girl, you need some rest. Huh? Put a coat on. Grab a coat and your gloves. That's why I bought them for you. Extraordinary love is my neighbor. Yes, ma'am.
Put on. Whatever inside of them, they don't let me put them on.
Yeah, we tried them on.
Yeah, I know the thing, but it's hard to put on. It takes me a little bit.
That's okay.
And then he's going to come in, and I don't want him doing that.
Put your gloves on.
I'm about to.
Okay. Yes, ma'am, is all you have to say. I'm waiting for it.
Yeah.
Okay. That arm is inside out, so you might want to reach around and pull through first. That's pretty much it, guys. That's it. Sorry it went in and out or froze. I hope that you were able to hear all of it. Such a good lesson today and something to definitely reflect on for sure. Okay. Anything else? I'm giving you one more minute to chime in. I'm glad that jacket still fits. I was just thinking about jackets for you guys.
So look, this thing won't like.
Come here. Put your hand little to get through there. Yeah, there you go. Keep going. Now pull the other side of it and it'll
And
help.
it just stops me like right here. It won't let me go. I can't do anything. And if Roxy gets a hold of it.
Okay, do you want me to see it?
Now it's up there.
Okay, good. There. That was easy. I think I'm just supposed to start. Yes, girl. Let's go. Write something. We're about to have in Maven Esther's, we're going to be, there's going to be some calls for daughter authors. And that will be a segment that you definitely want to be a part of. It's going to be amazing. No play is also what I'm excited about, which is feeling refreshed, even if around me. Don't dictate that. Praise. You deserve refreshment, sister. You definitely deserve refreshment. Wiggle your fingers a little bit. Try not to force. Just take a...
This thing. No, not this. That's good.
Oh, this thing?
Yeah.
Sorry. What am I missing? Oh. It goes like this. All right. Anything else, ladies? Okay, gotcha. Even if conditions around me don't dictate that.
They ran off? Doesn't mean you can take that.
Zay,
He just rolled my dirt bike without asking.
yeah. Tell him to stop. Tell him I said no.
We're right there.
Okay. All right. I'm going to close out, you guys.
Why'd you take my dirt bike?
Shut the door. Have an amazing day. Enjoy the day. Step into Thanksgiving. And I love you. And I will see you at 7 a.m. Are you guys going to be here at 7 a.m. on Thanksgiving? Holla. Let me know. Are you off? Would you like a later time? I'm staying on 2 more minutes to wait for answers of anybody that's here. Would you rather knock it out at 7 a.m. or would you rather go, hey, let's do 9 or 10? Just let me know when to wake up. Okay. I wouldn't mind sleeping in a little bit. That'd be kind of amazing. I'll probably be tired after today. I'm going to say maybe long gone are the days that I tell you that much. Oh, it's freeing. Anybody? 9, 10? Holla. Today was good. Tomorrow we step into Ezra. Uh-oh. I'm sorry. I'm about to close out. 9 a.m. sounds lovely. 9 a.m. sound good? Let's do 9 a.m. That's what I saw. All right. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3. He's where the joy is. See you at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Bye, guys.